Hey everybody, Pastor Randy here. Welcome to Make It Simple. Hope you're doing great on this beautiful Tuesday. Back with you. Long weekend, Memorial Day, travel, rain, work, all the different things. Life. It happens, right? So we're back with you today. We're right back where we started, going from dark to light. Going through difficult times is something none of us are exempt. Nobody. I don't care who you are. Doesn't matter. Title, no title. Degree, no degree. Rich and famous, poor and unknown. Everybody has a trial or a difficulty in this life. And strangely enough, if we follow Christ, we actually may have a few more. Because the ways of the world are so contrary to what God wants in our life. But we find in our text for this lesson in the book of James, and I want to reread this because the more that we look at the words here, it's so important that you gather what he's saying. He says, "My brethren, my fellow believers." So this is to all who will hear. Count it a joy when you fall into diverse temptations. Count it a joy when, not if, when difficult times come. Knowing this, in other words, this is what you'll learn, that the trying of your faith works patience. But let faith have her perfect work. Let it grow. Don't get ahead of it. Don't try to analyze it. Understand there's a lesson there. And that at the end of it, you'll be perfect, entire, and wanting nothing. What does this all come back to? We were talking last week in our last lesson. Jesus asked the disciples as they're panicked, the boat is taking on water. That again is an illustration of life. Things are not going the way that you would want them to. They're panicked. They're frazzled. They're at the end of their everything. And their faith is being tested. Jesus says to them, "Where is your faith? You're not displaying any at all with the attitude that you have right this minute, with the nature of your panic. It's as if all hope is lost." He's saying, I'm right here. And he literally was right there. He was in the bow of the boat taking a nap. He was telling them, why are you giving up so quickly? I didn't tell you that there wasn't going to be some difficult moments along the way. In fact, I told you just the opposite. If you followed me, the world will hate you. If you follow me, there's going to be tribulations. But in the process of all of that, following me is also the reminder I'm always there. And if you're following me, while the difficult moments may come, always know I am there. Why don't you trust me? That's really what it comes down to. A songwriter several years ago wrote these words: "As I knelt in the darkness in the middle of the night, I'm praying for assurance that everything's going to be all right. Lord, I see another battle. It's out in front of me, but I'm afraid I won't be able, and I'll go down in defeat." We can relate to those words as we get up every morning looking at the things before us, wondering what's going to be next. The songwriter goes on, and Jesus responds to that prayer. Didn't I walk on the water? Didn't I calm the raging sea? Remember, I spoke to the wind, and it hushed, and I gave you peace. Didn't I run to your rescue? Didn't I hear you when you called? I'll walk right beside you, just so you won't fall. Didn't I leave all of heaven just to die for your sin. I searched until I found you. And I do it all again. That song is incredible. It's called Didn't I Walk on the Water? Look it up. Listen to it. What an incredible message. I want us to hear that today. The right attitude in our trial makes all the difference in the world. If we look in this verse, in this passage from James, he says, knowing this, not just having knowledge, but accepting the fact. He said, knowing this. In other words, the when part, when the trial comes, that the trying of your faith works patience. In other words, there's a reason. We don't always understand it. Job didn't understand it. Many have not understood why. You know, Daniel, as he's being tested and thrown into the lion's den, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego being tested, on so and on so and on so. Why? Why didn't it get easier? The things that make us stronger never are easy. You know, whether it's a bench press or a straight bar curl. If we keep doing 5 pounds, you're never going to get stronger. You'll get fit. You'll get lean. But if your idea is mass and bulk and great strength, that ain't going to do it. It's the same way with everything. Not only just repetition, but the understanding of the depth of the necessity to strengthen something. To gain victory, friends, understand this. To gain victory in a trial, we have to grasp the reason, or we have to grasp that there is a reason for it. Why am I here? That's not simply asking for the answer to why. It's much greater than that. It goes back to having the right attitude. When we learn to act, as James says here, on what we know is true, knowing this has a much greater, a much deeper, a much more profound effect than just basing everything on how we feel. Think about that for a minute. Emotions are unsteady. We know that. They're up, they're down, they're all over the place. It's like a roller coaster. It just depends on what the day is. You may wake up. We have the old saying, woke up on the wrong side of the bed. You just woke up in a rotten mood for whatever reason. I don't know why it happens, but it does. Maybe you wanted it to be sunshine and it's raining. Maybe you wanted it to be Friday, but it's Monday. Whatever. We all have different things that happen. But emotions are up and down. They're fleeting. They're good. They're bad. They're all over the place. But emotions are a very unsteady place to walk. But when we know something, and I mean know, not just have knowledge, but we know it for a fact, we can grasp it. We know that it's true. We can hold on to it. We can absolutely cling to it and know without a doubt. When we know, and this is what James is saying here, when you know, knowing that, when we have that, then we can focus our attention on walking out of this battle victorious. In other words, we can focus on that victory in the storm as we're going through it, rather than how much that storm might hurt. Because if we're focusing only on that, emotions begin to supersede the strength of the victory. And we may retreat. We may go the other way. We may forget that Jesus is still in the boat with us. This verse, it tells us clearly there's a purpose. He says the trying, or we could say testing of your faith, works or produces patience. In other words, when faith is real, when faith is genuine, testing it actually develops it. It strengthens it. It allows us to rely on it soundly, and ultimately we begin to trust it because then we know without a doubt God can't fail. When we hold on to that, this journey we call life, it gets a little bit easier to travel. We'll pick back up on this tomorrow. God bless you. Hope you have a great day.